Hey guys, M13 here. Taiwan is closed today, and I decided I'd go for a ride. This is, well, it's early morning traffic on a Friday, so it should be a lot busier than this. Today is like a national holiday. It's a typhoon day. There's a typhoon that's going nearby the island, and the government declared today being closed. And what is this dog doing? Hi, can you just magically tell I'm a dog person? Are you coming to say, no, you're not coming to me. Now you're just, no, you're gonna get killed. Yeah, you're dead. I think I remember that dog. I think I saw the dog. Where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, so let's let's try to keep on topic a little bit. Yeah, so today the government announced it's pretty much like a snow day in Canada, or I don't know. What do you guys get in America? I think in the South you get like when it's too hot. In Canada we actually have days that are too cold. In Winnipeg, where I'm from, there'd be days where the temperature was so low they would just cancel school for the day. And it's a joke because, as you can tell, it's not even raining right now. It's dry out. I got a rain jacket on just because it's raining off and on, but as of right now, it's not raining, it's not windy, and yet for some reason the schools are closed, factories are closed, businesses are either open or closed, just depending on what they decided to do. If a store is open today, then they have to pay their workers like time and a half or double time or whatever, because technically it's a holiday. But they do this all the time. I've lived in Taiwan for roughly 20 years, and this is more the norm for a typhoon day than it isn't. Yeah, more often than not, a typhoon day is no big deal. Yeah, it's okay. But occasionally, normally it's raining. Like normally it'll just be like a rainy day, but it's not even raining today, so this is a joke. They originally said that the typhoon holiday would begin at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but when I went to bed last night, they'd escalated it to be the entire day. So yeah, evidently doesn't make sense. I remember once I was going to work to teach English, and it was torrential rain. It wasn't a typhoon, but it was torrential rain. Like it was one of the heaviest days of rainfall in the 20 years that I've been here. And I remember phoning my work and saying, do I have to come into work today? Because my work was actually pretty far from my house. It was about a 30-minute ride. Maybe, yeah, or roughly 30 minutes. I get so stuck on numbers, man. I'm definitely OCD. People have mentioned it before. Like, I'm OCD with numbers. I don't like saying 30 minutes if it's 33. You know, I don't like being off just a little bit with a lot of things. It also has to do with the fact that I always try to be as honest as possible. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was a long ride from my house to my place of work, and I phoned them and I'm like, do I have to come into work today? And the woman laughed at me and she said, of course you have to come into work. It's rain, it's not a typhoon. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I literally had a lot of difficulty making it to work because every time a road had a bit of a dip in it, like it does up ahead, it was flooded, and we're talking like 4 feet of water, and I had to keep backtracking and trying different roads, and they were flooded. It was physically very, very difficult to get to work that day. And then when I finally did get there, I'm soaked. You know, my clothing is. So, it doesn't matter how much rain gear you wear. When it's torrential rain, you will be soaked. People don't understand that. I do tours, right? And then I have tours where it's raining heavy, and I have all these customers that show up, and they're like, they bring their own rain gear, and it's funny because they always, there was one tour specifically where it rained horribly. Actually, I think there's only ever been one tour where it rained horribly. But on that tour, I had people bragging about how good their rain gear was, because I said to them, "Oh, there's going to be a lot of rain this week," and they were like, "Oh, no problem. This rain gear I have is for go-kart racing. I'll be perfectly dry." And someone else is like, "Yeah, this is like military issue rain gear. I'll be fine." And someone else had a dry bag. Their backpack was a special like kayaking backpack. Long story short, everybody was soaking wet no matter what type or kind of rain gear they had on. And the guy with the kayaking backpack, it really was waterproof, because by the end of the day it filled up with water and the water could not get out of it. It was pretty funny. So he like, when we stopped at the end of the day's riding, he realized that the bag had slowly been filling it. Water was getting into the bag somehow, and the water couldn't get out because the bag was waterproof. So his backpack just filled up with water. So everything was was way worse than anyone else's backpack, because he had a bag of water on his back. And what else? Oh, just right before I started the video, there was a dog that was following my scooter, and I was trying to figure out why. Like, as I rode by, it kind of turned its head, and then it started chasing me, and I stopped, and I thought, oh, maybe it's a friendly dog, and I put my hand out, and it was wary of me. It didn't want to come near me, and I figured it out. That was the same spot where the person who found my dog found her, and he told me that she was playing with another dog. So I find it rather amazing. The dog smelled Xiao Mei on me, or Xiao Mei on my motorcycle, and that's why it started to chase me. It could smell my dog on my scooter, and that's a fairly educated guess on what happened there. So Typhoon days, the government isn't completely stupid. It's just the area where I live seems to be the area of Taiwan least affected by natural disasters, and everything from earthquakes to typhoons seem to affect here the least. Speaking of earthquakes, we had a 6 point something earthquake. I think it was yesterday morning. Was it yesterday morning? Yeah, it was yesterday morning. Oh, that wasn't I thought that was like some kind of advertising for a store just then, but it wasn't. Let me listen.
明天恢复正常清运垃圾。明天恢复正常清运垃圾。祝福各位乡亲长辈们平安、健康、喜乐。谢谢。
Wow, that was fairly boring. Surprisingly, I think I understood every single word she said. Maybe there was one or two, so I'd say 99% of what she said I understood. And I'm kind of proud of myself for that, because I don't always understand things that are not in my normal area of conversation. You know what I mean? Like if I'm talking with another guy about motorcycles, then yeah, I'm gonna understand everything he says. But if I go to a hospital and I'm talking to a doctor, then there's a lot I might not understand of what he says. Or recently I've been dealing with lawyers and social workers a lot. For those of you that don't know, I'm currently in a custody battle for my son. He has been begging me for years to get custody of him, and I'm finally doing it, or trying to do it. Speaking of which, I have a GoFundMe, which has been up for at least a week now, but I haven't mentioned it anywhere other than on Facebook. So I'll put a link to that. I didn't plan on mentioning it, but it's on topic, so I'll put a link to that in the video description. If you do want to give a large amount, because I had a couple of people that gave large amounts, and if you do want to give a large amount, do do it through PayPal, because, you know, GoFundMe takes a cut, and then PayPal, and then I get paid through PayPal, and then they take a cut. So if you want to give a large amount, then cut out one of the middlemen and just give it directly to the PayPal. Yeah, my son and I would both appreciate the help. Yeah, lawyers are costly, and I've already gotten, yeah. Anyways, that wasn't one of the videos. What was I talking about? The last thing I was talking about, I thought it was interesting. Oh, the announcement. She just, the gist of it was, today's a typhoon day. Be careful when you're driving or riding, even though it's perfectly safe out. Safer than normal because there's less traffic than normal. And then she said, there's they're not collecting garbage today, but normal garbage service will resume tomorrow. And then she said, peace and health be with you, and that was about it. Pretty much the only thing she said of relevance was things are closed today because it's a typhoon day, and no garbage today, but there will be tomorrow. Okay, so I guess this is a life update video, and I thought it would be cool to show you guys what it's like driving around my city when it's closed. Yeah, it's rare that this is this. I'd say this is. I often go riding very early in the morning. I enjoy, when I'm doing tours. We usually begin riding at around 5:30 a.m. I love riding really early. If I'm riding with a group, then the earlier the better. If I'm riding by myself, it's not as important, but yeah, normally the only time you see this little traffic on the road would be before 6:30 in the morning. Before, yeah, I'd say before 6 even. What else? Yeah, that's about it. I didn't see my son for about 2 months because my ex-wife was just not letting me see him, and that I went to court over that, and the courts gave her a paper forcing her to allow me to see my son. Just I guess enforcing my parental rights would be the correct way to say that. So it's not, yeah. And she's mad at me right now, so she's not talking. Oh, well, obviously, because I'm taking her to court. So she's not. So recently, I've actually been really happier than normal these last few weeks, because whenever the phone rings, I know it's not her. that's you honestly don't know how. Oh, that's weird. I'm feeling a bit emotional. You don't know how much of a positive effect that has on my life, because for the last 10 years of my life, anytime, like including when I was married to her and living with her, for the last 10 years of my life, anytime she speaks to me or my phone rings and it's her, I have this stress, it's feeling of dread, whatever. One of the things I hate most in life is the sound of her voice for the last 10 years. And only for the last month or so, she's like completely not talking to me. So yeah, there's this new sense of freedom. Every day I don't have the fear of hearing her voice. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. I guess there's some water from the heavy rains. Normally these rivers are pretty calm. Yeah, so we're like downtown right now, and as you can tell, there's like nothing. Very little traffic. Yeah, so, oh, and the other reason is because we've been separated now for over 4 years, and for the last 4 years, I've never known if I was going to see my son on the weekend or not. She never guarantees my visitation. Like, sometimes at the last minute, she'll be like, oh, no, this weekend, I don't think you should see your son, or I'm not letting you see your son this weekend, or whatever. Like, so for the last, even though I have guaranteed visitation on weekends, she has ignored it very often. I don't think there's been a single month where I've gotten to see my son every weekend. So now yeah, so for the last few weeks I've been happy because every weekend I absolutely know I'm going to see my son, and I know what time I'm going to see him, and it's such a stress relief to not worry, because there have been weekends that I've been looking forward to doing something specific with my son. Like on Saturday I got tickets to a play or something, and then Saturday shows up and she's like, oh no, I'm not gonna let you see him this weekend. And I'm like, I bought tickets to a play. And she's like, well, that's nothing to do with me, too bad. You know, like, I look forward all week long to seeing my son on the weekend, and the last second she says, no, you can't see him, because she's in a bad mood or whatever, or because she wants to punish me for something. So yeah, so now every weekend I have guaranteed visitations. The way it works in Taiwan is if you get, like, if one parent's not letting the other parent visit, you go and you get a paper that like forces them to let you visit, and then if they don't let you see your child again, like on the weekend, then boom, it's $1,000 fine, $1,000 US fine. So each weekend, as of a few weeks ago, each weekend she doesn't let me see my son, she gets fined $1,000 US. So in other words, she cannot not let me see my son. So yeah, so it's put me in a good mood. Yeah, that light's green. I'm like, okay, the other light went red. I kind of jumped the green there, but it's okay. The city's closed. Okay, that's my life update. Thank you for watching. If you support me on Patreon, you'd see more personal kind of life updates. Oh, what the fuck? There's like 2 ambulances stuck in traffic. These people, man. Taiwanese people don't understand how ambulances and fire engines work. If you have an ambulance behind you, you can run the red lights. Like all these cars here, they could just literally run the red. Oh no, never mind. I thought the ambulance was trying to get through. They're not. They're actually scooping up a body. There's like no traffic. How do you guys crash? How do you get into an accident on a day when there's no traffic, no rain? Like, I couldn't think of a safer day to ride than today. Looks like the car was changing lanes into her, and then that's probably your scooter on the side there. She's not hurt, thankfully. Or not bad, anyways. So yeah, okay, thank you for watching my video. There's a link to the GoFundMe in the video description, and my Patreon. There's always a link to my Patreon in the video description, even though I rarely ever mention it. Thank you, and peace out.